You've been in almost every position I can think of, just working your way up. So you know the ins and outs. So you're in a great position to help lead the wildlife division and
Well,
doing good work.
Thank you, Jason. I guess it's a sign of my age when you can, you have periods of time in your career that you've done different things. So, yeah. It's been a great career so far.
Yeah.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We're glad you're tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We got a fun show for you today, and we have Mr. Wally Akins with us. He also goes by James, but we're glad to have him. He has recently stepped up a little bit.
Yeah, he sure has. A little promotion.
Yeah. So it'll be fun to chat with Wally today and talk a lot of things. But Don's helping me co-host. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for coming back. I know we had Jennifer last week.
Yeah. Sorry I had to be out and miss the governor, but Jennifer Wisniewski did a great job of stepping in, and I appreciate her doing that, and for lining him up to working with his folks to get him out here. But that was great that he was able to spend the time with you guys and help spread the word about the outdoors is still wide open,
Yeah. He did a great job. It was a great interview and fun to have him in the studio. So, Wally, how you been?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning. It's good to be here. So, but yes, I've been doing great. Enjoying the wonderful weather we've had the last few weeks, so it's been all good.
Been cool, a little cooler at times. Then it warms up in the evenings, and it's a good time of year. Change of colors and all kinds of fun stuff.
Still wearing shorts when I can. So.
Exactly. I thought about wearing shorts today, but I didn't. So let's talk about you a little bit, Wally. Just to let everybody know who you are and kind of how you got to where you are today. Assistant Chief of Wildlife now, and you started out. The first place I remember you was at Hiwassee, and I don't know if that's where you started or not.
Well, it's not. Actually, I started out in Hancock County as a wildlife officer, and never thought I'd be where I'm at now, when I lived up there in Sneedville, Tennessee, and still got some great friends up there. It's a beautiful place. Still go up there when I can. But I was an officer there, came to Meigs County as a wildlife officer, and then to Hiwassee Refuge.
Okay.
So I was at Hiwassee, I think, 9 years. And that's when we met, of course, and then went into private lands, working as a private lands biologist, and then from there to the regional small game biologist, Region 3, and then I was a program manager for a little bit, a year and a half, year and 8 months or so, and then recently have promoted into the Assistant Chief of Wildlife position for our division. So this is an honor and a privilege to serve, and it's been a good career so far, and look forward to the next however long that'll be, 10 or 12 years maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember, Wally, first time I met you too, you were in Meigs County at the refuge.
Yes.
And Dan Hicks brought me by and said, want to introduce you to Wally. He's the guy who keeps his place running. And sure enough, land management, I kind of equate that to our fish hatchery folks. A lot of them live on site, and at that time, you were living on site at Hiwassee, and had a nice place right there on the land, and
beautiful place, beautiful scenery. Have Hiwassee Island right there with a lot of history and a lot of culture as well. So, good place, and a lands management and our staff they do. That's kind of our crews that really do all the work for the agency. And, y'all know this, we have several divisions. We all share the same mission, the same values in fisheries and biodiversity and all. And the public really sees the wildlife officer as the face of the agency. But I think the public also looks at our management areas and kind of they use that as a measuring stick of how well we're doing as an agency, and they provide a lot of hunting opportunity, a lot of bird watching opportunities, a lot of just getting out on the landscape and enjoying the outdoors. So, it's kind of a measuring stick for our agency, I think. But our land management crew, they're the ones, our managers and technicians, that do all the work really for TWRA. So,
and as I mentioned, you were living on site, so it's hard to decide. Okay, my 7.5 or my 8 or my 15 hours for today are over. I'm
That's
going
right.
to the house.
Well, you never did really get away from the job, living on that WMA.
Oh, I can imagine.
Many weekends you would be off, or Sunday afternoons, somebody would just be coming by and want to talk and ask questions.
Yeah.
Or late evenings. You never got away from the job, really. And that has its good and bad points.
Right.
But it was fun living down there, and a great opportunity to do good things there. So.
And whenever I think of that particular refuge, I think of Sandhill Cranes.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And the festival that's been going on for so many years. But, that's just been a boon for a lot of wildlife watchers to come out and check out the sandhills when they're there, and whooping cranes occasionally.
That's right. And we have wildlife success stories, and sandhill crane is one of them.
Oh,
and
man, yeah.
Tennessee is not the only partner in that. Reason for their success, they're a migratory bird and live in a lot of different places. But in 1988, in our waterfowl counts, we only had 28 birds was the maximum number.
Wow.
That we counted that year. And now we're counting tens and 20,000 of those birds during the wintertime. So, it's an evolution, or a kind of an evolution that's changed over the years, but it has drawn a lot of interest, and a lot of, people just come out and just love to watch the birds. So
yeah.
It's a good thing.
Well, you've seen all sides of it. You've been in almost every position I can think of, just working your way up. So you know the ins and outs. So you're in a great position to help lead the wildlife division, and doing good work.
Thank you, Jason. I guess it's a sign of my age when you can, you have periods of time in your career that you've done different things. So yeah, it's been a great career so far.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here with us today, and we're going to jump into a few things. Deer season was one of the things I had on my list to talk about. It's mid-October, and deer season's going strong. You gave a presentation at the last commission meeting about the August hunt, and you had a few numbers, or you had some stats that you could share with us on how the season's going so far. So what's going on with that?
Right. And in the September commission meeting, I did give a little brief update on the August deer hunt, or the velvet hunt that we call it. And the numbers then were 50 to 100% higher than what they were in 2019. So now we're 3.5 weeks into the archery season, and some areas of the state have muzzleloader and gun, but so it's holding true. The numbers are 50 to 100% higher than this time last year. So we
looks like people are getting out.
That's right, and our turkey season, the harvest there was extremely high, higher than normal, and it looks like that's going to be the same case as our deer season. So. What's interesting is a lot of the harvest are coming during the days of the week, the Monday through Friday. So it probably is COVID related. People are at home. They have time to get out on the landscape and enjoy the outdoors. So that's what we're seeing so far.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, those weekdays were, folks most time are at the office, and can't get outdoors. But
great to help spread the pressure, through the whole week than just weekends.
That is true.
Exactly.
I haven't been out deer hunting yet. I hope to be sometime. I don't archery hunt. I used to, but I muzzleload and gun hunt.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to muzzleload season coming up and getting out a few days and trying to harvest a deer.
Yeah, those dates for muzzleloader, I wrote those down so we could share them. November 7th through the 20th. Is the muzzleloader, and then gun opens up November 21st through January 3rd. Now, for CWD, though, the CWD unit, that's different. November 7th through January 3rd opens the gun season for CWD.
That's right.
Unit. So,
yes.
What all is going on over there? Anything you want to point out or talk about that's happening in the unit CWD right now?
Well, a lot is going on. Obviously, with CWD, there's a lot of different moving parts at any time of the year, really, year-round. It's not a mandatory check-in this year, but we are still going to be collecting samples.
Right.
members of TWRA staff from all over the state will be going to Region 1 and helping out throughout the entire deer season. But that crew, Region 1 staff, they've been working extremely hard. Already we've sampled almost 500 deer for CWD. We've got 100 or more samples at the lab right now awaiting results, and then each week we're sending samples to the lab to test for CWD. So a lot of things going on. We've had, so far this year, I think 15 positives. Okay. Most of them are in the core area, Fayette and Hardeman County. But again, we're going to be collecting samples not only in Unit CWD, but statewide. We have a quota, a number of samples we need for each county that we acquire. And if we reach that number, we are 95% sure we will find the disease if it's there. So,
okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an ongoing, a lot of things going on over there in Region 1.
Well, I know CWDintennessee.com is a great resource that takes you to our website. And I saw an email go out the other day. We are sending emails out for positives or non-detects. So you'll get an email if you have harvested deer in that area and had a sample taken. It'll tell you. It'll come back and tell you whether the deer was positive or negative, I guess. And then you can also go online, that same website, CWDintennessee.com, and there's a list there where you can find your confirmation number.
That's good. Give you a little more confidence for
absolutely
table fare there.
Absolutely.
So I know that's being updated every week, so that chart table.
And, we have a marketing campaign going on, a digital marketing campaign. So if you've hunted or harvested a deer over in Region 1, you may be getting some emails or text messages about CWD. We have our next public meeting, the 29th.
Right.
We're going to do that, I guess, Facebook Live?
Yeah.
Yep. So
anyway. I think that covers deer.
On CWD, I was just going to step back just a second. It was good that, the Wildlife Division, working, made a recommendation to increase the help regarding CWD in the years coming forward here. So that was good. The commission realized that was a need, a huge need, because as you mentioned, so many of our folks were coming from all over the state to accommodate all the extra work that needed to be done during the CWD stuff.
Right, absolutely. And, it's great that the commission did recognize the need for more personnel. We're going to be able to hire some folks here hopefully in the very near future, even get them on the ground going this season. But, partners as well, the Department of Agriculture have also recognized the importance of us trying to tackle this disease as best we know how with the latest science-based research. So, not just TWRA, but a lot of other entities and organizations across the state have really helped out with CWD. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's transition. I feel like we're staying in West Tennessee today, although there are some ducks in Middle Tennessee and some in East. But let's jump to duck season, and I wanted to point out something that Jamie Feddersen, our waterfowl biologist, shared with me. Is a weekly duck migration forecast that's going to be out. And we're going to share it on our social media pages, but it's a YouTube video with some slides, and Dr. Mike Schumer from the Schumer Lab of Conservation and Waterfowl and Wetlands Resources is putting together this weekly podcast, and he kind of forecasts what the ducks are going to be doing and how they're migrating down this way and that kind of thing. So it's a cool listen. Go listen and go watch. It's also got some little slides, like I said, but we'll share it on our Facebook and social media channels, but go check him out directly. It's pretty cool. So
kind of a duck version of a fishing report.
Yeah, there you go. It's a duck report.
Yeah. Right.
So anyway, you, Wally, did some I had a presentation at the last commission meeting talking about some of the properties and how they're coming along and plantings and things like that. So what's the outlook for this season?
Of course, duck hunting is big in West Tennessee. It's big across the state, but a lot of interest in how our WMAs are doing in Region 1. The staff or has really been challenged because of weather events.
Right.
This year, we've had sometimes 200% above average rainfall in some of those areas. So, they've gotten flooded out 2, 3, and 4 times this whole year. Their crops have been flooded out. So, they've had to delay in the planting. In some cases, not being able to plant at all, or in some cases also replant 2 times or 3 times.
Sure.
Because of rain. So, in areas like the Camden area, we've got great crops. It's probably the best they've had in years in Camden and Kentucky Lake units. You get to the lower Obion and upper Obion, though, there's probably impacted the most with rain. In general, those areas have been impacted, 2 and 4 times this season. So, some areas, they've planted corn. They've lost the corn due to flooding. They've come back in with Japanese millet or something like that and get a crop, which is a very good food source for ducks. Or they've managed for moist soil management areas, and that is manipulating the water levels to encourage those native plant community to respond, and sometimes they even spray or fertilize just native vegetation to benefit it or to enhance it. So, there's a lot more food value in a moist soil unit than what we can plant as in a crop of corn or milo or whatever, Japanese millet. So, all in all, it's turned out okay. I think we've got some really good areas and then what I'll call good areas because of what we've been able to do and salvage, from the flooding, salvage the crop or change the crop into something that's beneficial to waterfowl.
Yeah.
The Reelfoot units have not been really impacted at all.
Okay.
So,
good news.
They've kind of dodged the rains a little bit, and then we had Hurricane Delta that came through 2 or 3 weeks ago that even hit them again. So it's just been tough this year.
So I guess in some cases water is good for ducks and these refuges and these areas that we're planting and things like that. But too much water can be a problem.
That's right. And even, the crews have been kind of opportunistic areas they normally would have to pump or divert water through gravity flow system. They shut their gates on Hurricane Delta, and just caught water. The crops had already made in some cases. So it can be good if you can get ahead of it in management, but it can be bad. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of moving parts with that business, man. I tell you, it's got to be disheartening too for the guys when they're out there and they've planted it 3 or 4 times, and then here it comes and washes it away again.
Yeah, and let's do not think about what it costs per duck to do the management for it. Just don't go there. But yes, it is frustrating when you've got a good looking crop or the beginning of a good looking crop and then it gets flooded out. It's tough. So,
and that goes back to our property managers and our technicians and all those guys that are working hard. And they're working probably double time over there in some cases.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're short staffed in Region 1 right now, and those guys and girls are working 2 and 3 times, or 2 or 3 different hats they're wearing a day. So it's in Region 1, they're really getting it right now. They're working hard over there. So
well, keep at it. Keep doing good work, guys, out there. I know y'all are, and we appreciate y'all stepping it up for us. And the sportsmen and women of Tennessee appreciate it. Bob White Quail. We've been getting a few questions and comments on social media about Bob White, and I know we have some focus areas and things going on, but there's a new project coming out. Tell us about the new project and what all's happening around quail. And people may not think we're doing anything, but we are. There's some stuff going on.
Absolutely, and I'm glad to really talk about this species because it's kind of my passion. And
you worked a lot with
quail and grouse. And yes, there's a lot of people that's been frustrated with the agency of what we have or have not done for quail over the years. And, in a lot of cases, we have not had to do anything for quail until the 1980s. We've had strong populations of birds in Tennessee, and we didn't have to do quail management so much. They were those populations were able to maintain themselves. But since then, they have dropped dramatically, and not only in Tennessee, but range-wide of the Bob White from New Jersey to Texas. So, a lot of states are working together to benefit these birds. And here in Tennessee, we have strong partnerships with Quail Forever, at the state level and also at local chapters. The Chattanooga chapter has been very strong and supportive, as well as the chapters in Blount County, Smoky Mountain chapter. So, and I hate to even mention one or two because I'm going to leave them out. So all the local chapters are really helping us. But part of this partnership is a new research project that we are going to hopefully start this winter. And as a side note, quail are probably one of the most well-researched animal we have in the state of and in the nation, really. But in Tennessee, we've never had a radio telemetry study of quail on a year-round basis. The late 80s and early 90s, we did have some telemetry work going on quail, but just during the nesting season. So this upcoming research is to radio tag birds at 3 different areas across the state, and track these birds on a year-round basis, so weekly on a year-round basis. So the intent of the study is to really find out where these birds are going, where they're dying, where they're living, and where they are dying, and then make some habitat management recommendations and implement those management recommendations, and then see the response of birds. So it will be a 5-year study, but it should give us this knowledge base that we just don't have. And you think we would, but we just do not have it in Tennessee. There's been similar research as this, but in other parts of the country and in other systems like pine systems. And most of Tennessee, on our quail focus areas, that is, we do have pine systems, but most of it is in a hardwood system.
Right.
Where we've harvested timber and cleared the land for early successional. So, we're going to get some valuable information. We do have 4 quail focus areas in the state. Wolf River in West Tennessee is our NBCI, the Northern Bobwhite Conservation Initiative area. It's a nationally recognized area. But the study will go on there at Bridgestone Firestone in Region 3, which is potential to be a great area. We have quail there now. We're trying to boost those populations. And then also at Kiker Bottoms in Blount County. And the manager there has managed for quail. He's maintained a population probably the highest in the state for 20 years. So, using especially what they're doing at Kiker Bottoms, try to translate it to other areas in the state, we should be able to do some of that stuff. And also, too, a concerning thing for me is we've been doing a lot of quail work, especially at Bridgestone and Wolf River, and we're just now starting to see the response, which has been longer than what you would think.
It's not overnight, for
That's
sure.
Right.
Is it?
That's right. But so this research would also tell us, is there something we're missing? Is it something, like I said, how are they dying? Is it during the stress time of winter time or late summer, which is also a stress period, or is it predation, or is it, what is it?
Right.
So that's what we're hoping to get this knowledge and looking forward to what it will do with our quail program.
Good.
Are these telemetry packs, are they similar to the duck backpacks?
They are, You strap them on the back. We're looking to try to catch at least 30 per study site, which is a pretty big endeavor. I mean, it's going to take a lot of man hours just to catch that many birds, and then start telemetry. We'll be trapping this winter, hopefully, and starting telemetry right after that. So
you're on those focus areas, trapping those birds, and then you learn what you need to learn. But are you going to implement that on those properties, or start implementing that on other WMAs and things like that?
At first on these properties, so we can watch these birds. They have a very small home range, so they're not going to leave another or a particular piece of property a great distance anyway. Right. So we will be implementing the management practices on the WMA. But then hopefully we can translate that to private land surrounding that WMA for that immigration and emigration of birds back and forth,
awesome.
So
cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun little video, a little project to see it going on.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a passion of mine. I'd really, hopefully, before I retire, see some at least close back to huntable populations like we had. And we will probably never have it like we had it in the 80s, but we should have pockets of huntable birds across Tennessee, hopefully.
Yeah. That's something I've never been able to do is quail hunt, so I think that'd be fun to be able to do that one day.
Right. And it's, since they have declined over the last 30 years, a lot of folks that are less than 30, we've got college students in wildlife and fishery science that have never heard a quail sing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I miss that too.
That's right.
Oh,
that's
man.
right. And I'm probably on the very tail end of those birds. Again, I'm telling my age, but when I was growing up, it was a common thing to see people bird hunt, and we did it too. But then since then, that decline has really been drastic. And so I do remember when I was a kid and a young teenager that you could go out and find birds. But now it's a challenge.
You mentioned grouse earlier. Tell us a little bit about grouse in Tennessee.
Well,
put you on the spot here.
Okay, and grouse and quail are they're different. One's they're both early successional species, but grouse, of course, are a forested bird. Quail is not. They're old field. And both are very similar in their decline. I mean, they're just, both of those are going down a range wide. In Tennessee, range wide too, but it's probably habitat related, loss of habitat. In Tennessee, the range of grouse is mostly on the southern Appalachian chain, which is owned by the U.S. Forest Service. Grouse populations are all also on the Cumberland Plateau and up in the Cumberland Mountains, where we have state management areas like Catoosa and North Cumberland. So we've been working now in the very initial stages with the U.S. Forest Service. We have a great partnership with them to try to do things to benefit grouse, and also with Rough Grouse Society and American Woodcock Society. Both partner organizations are working with us. We've met with them. They've come visited some of our areas. So we're hoping, and now that interest is being generated more and more for doing some real grouse management in Tennessee. So hopefully we will get that kick-started off in the near future. So, but it's tough to find birds.
I figured that'd be a tough bird to hunt.
They are. I'm a grouse hunter, and it's tough. Unfortunately, you have to go out of state if you really want to find a lot of birds, and it's just what you have to do right now. And not to say you can't find a few birds here and there in Tennessee. You can still do that, but it's hard to stay motivated, put it that way.
Yeah. Well, it's another chance to get outside, and once you're out there, it's fun to be outside, it's fun to be in the woods.
Right, so. Absolutely. That means a lot to do that.
So you got your boy out there with you, and
oh yeah,
I know that's fun.
He's not been grouse hunting with me. He's been dove hunting a couple times with me, and we get out and walk around and shoot his BB gun, so that's fun too.
Those kids love the BB guns for sure.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, Wally, I appreciate it. It's a good show. That's a lot of good information, and I just appreciate what you're doing, and
congratulations on the promotion.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Keep up the good work, Don. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks again.
It's been a fun show. Remember tnwildlife.org for all the information around Tennessee wildlife and getting outside. GoOutdoorsTennessee.com is the website to buy your license. Don't forget the e-store, shop.GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.
All kinds of new stuff on there.
Yeah, all kinds of new hats and buffs and keychains and knives and cups.
Christmas is coming.
There you go. Jingle bells, jingle bells. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.